Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. You are probably aware that Roman Catholics have saints' days, days when one or another person from history who did something great in or for the Church is honored and venerated. It's not quite the same thing, but in our Lutheran Church we also honor some historical saints and see them as good models for us and people who can inspire our own faith. In fact, if you have a Lutheran hymnal, you'll find the calendar of festivals and commemorations as one of the first things after the introduction. One thing not everyone knows, we honor these saints on their death days, not on their birthdays. Their death day is considered their birthday into heaven. So that is when we honor them. Today we want to look at Anselm, Bishop of Canterbury, who died April 21st, 1109. Anselm was born in Italy. When he was 23, his mother died and he had a quarrel with his father and left home and traveled to France. There he was drawn into the monastic life, particularly because the prior in the monastery, a man named Lanfranc, was widely known for his intellectual brilliance. Eventually Anselm took over as the prior, and after that traveled to England to visit Lanfranc, who had become the Archbishop of Canterbury. A few years later, after Lanfranc died, Anselm accepted his own appointment as Archbishop of Canterbury. It's important for us to remember that at this point in history, the church in England was the only church that existed at the time, the Roman Catholic Church. The split that introduced Protestantism and resulted in the Church of England was still a few hundred years away. In Anselm's time, however, there was a different controversy at hand. The king, William II, also known as William Rufus, was making an all-out effort to get control of the church. William wanted the lands and the wealth of the church and the power that came with that kind of control. So Anselm found himself in the middle of a conflict between his king and his pope. Anselm was exiled away from England and went to Rome, where the pope sent him to a church council meeting with the Greek Orthodox Church. There was an attempt at reunion with the Roman Catholic Church, and there Anselm defended the Western view that Jesus and God were of the same substance, a central debate about the nature of God going on at the time. Eventually Anselm went back to his place in Canterbury, but when the new king demanded an oath of allegiance to the crown, Anselm refused and was exiled again. You see, Anselm believed that at the heart of the matter, his king was Jesus. Eventually, this all got worked out, and Anselm returned to England. By this time, Anselm was in poor health, and on Palm Sunday of 1109, Anselm was told that he might die in time to experience Easter in heaven. And Anselm replied that that might be so, but if it were God's will, he'd like to stay long enough to resolve the question of the origin of the soul. However, Anselm died on Wednesday of Holy Week. Beyond all this, Anselm is remembered for his writings in which he said that faith precedes reason, but that reason and intellect are valuable tools in gaining insight into God and God's ways. This is probably how most of us think about faith nowadays, but it was a new and radical idea at the time. Anselm also emphasized the role of the maternal in God. In a prayer addressing Jesus, are you not a mother too? Indeed you are, and the mother of all mothers, who tasted death in your longing to bring forth children to life. Anselm understood the pursuit of trying to know God and called it prayer. In his day, things like that would have been radical, but Anselm moved the church forward to a new vista of faith. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.